It began in innocence.
I'm here for the garden.
And grew quickly from there.
You know, James, he's pretty smooth.
Are you coming up, Luce? There you go. Jackie, I know is very, very pleased.
Soon others knew.
Anyway, the neighbors are coming up and they're saying, what is this?
You know, I can be myself with her.
And reason to celebrate was just around the corner.
Here we are at Jackie's backyard.
Oh, nice.
Hi, I'm James. I'm a landscape designer, and I'm off to see my next client, Jackie.
It's always you're anticipating, your mind's racing at what sort of things you're going to be getting into, and it's all sort of a great big ball of questions.
About 6 months ago, my partner and I decided that we would move in together, so we bought this house.
Along with the house came the tangled yard.
Oh, who's coming?
That would be yours truly.
James, hi, nice to meet you.
Oh, you've got a gorgeous house here.
Thank you.
But I'm here for the garden.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Well, come on in. This is
Great.
Lucy.
Hey, Lucy. What's up?
Lucy James.
Hi, Lucy. Lucy, come on out and show us the yard.
Yeah. This is Lucy's yard.
Lucy, what do you think?
Lucy says,
Wow.
well, you know, it's a little overgrown.
Oh, you know what, though? Right away, I think we take down that maple to open it up.
I love that tree. That tree must stay.
Just kidding. I love it. It's so beautiful. It's like the anchor, the focal of this whole place.
Here's the first thing.
Yeah.
See how, like, you can't go 2 feet without going down a step? There's, like, no place to put a table.
Mm-hmm.
And then this area in the back
As a destination.
has a different feel. You have a destination.
The backyard right now is in a horrible state. It's just a giant slope. This is a very difficult backyard to gain back without spending a fortune. Now, what about, Jackie, the storage area here? Is there anything you want to talk about with that?
Well, I think what I want to do is move it back. I'd like, if possible, to get rid of that space in the back.
Okay.
By where the wood is.
We'll do it and give you that space back.
Okay.
Jackie's yard may not be much now, but dirty business can turn it into a usable oasis.
What's going on with the property here?
Whatever you guys come up with, this Japanese maple, don't even think of going even close to it. Figure something out that sort of ties in that Japanese maple and sets it off. I mean, you know, it is the centerpiece of this garden. It really is.
Because the grade is, it's kind of a wonky wave kind of feeling. Mm-hmm. Getting from this grade to this grade is going to be some series of stairs.
That's the important part, getting a nice tiered transition as you work your way down.
Because the grades actually create a lot of interest, just got to work them properly.
Cool.
Okay.
Excellent.
Let's get started.
See ya.
So Lorne is starting with a site survey.
There's a reason they call this SUV. Stupid, ugly vehicle. It's falling apart. Oh, I'm really just a beast of burden. Oh, the house. It's a nice house. Looks like it used to be a cottage, but they've added a second floor, looks like. Tight access here for machinery and men and whatnot. Ew. Except for the Japanese maple, that's beautiful. The grades are going to be really important because the way the door is situated down into the back of the garden, because it does slope a fair bit for a fairly small yard. We really have to take into consideration how the grade drops off. So the amount of steps required, the elevations, how it's going to be retained, whether it's going to be patio or walls or decking, all those things, and the privacy from the neighbor, I'm assuming. Good fences make good neighbors. You don't always want to say hello to your neighbor. You want to be friendly, but you don't want to come out in your Calvin Kleins and with your cappuccino and have to say hello. It might be awkward.
Lorne needs to take all the measurements so we can figure out the plan of attack.
Okay, so Jackie's house. Get up!
Oh, I'm so excited about this design.
Get up!
Look at that. It's a house with boundaries,
Yes.
a
Now,
shed, and a tree.
You know what's really cool about this one? Everything's gonna roll around this Japanese maple. Gorgeous maple, which is
Right.
going to dictate this design.
So two of the main concerns, the grade issue, creating some interesting space up here, which
Right.
is lacking, and this beautiful specimen Japanese maple.
That's right.
Which sounds like decking maybe in order.
Decking probably is in order for this design, for sure. I agree.
Because that's a cost-effective way to deal with grades rather than putting
That's
terrace system with natural stone,
That's
brick,
right.
etc. Well, I think what we're probably going to do, James, hear me out on this. We're going to have a transitional deck at the top for barbecue and a little intimate area for the family to have a coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
Then we'll go down to a main deck, which will be for dining, and then we're going to have some sort of stair system that will lead down to a third area, which will be more of a destination garden for the swing chair, etc. So I better get drawing this. Usually the lots in town are long and narrow, sort of like bowling alleys, and this is sort of a short and squat lot, so and the yard's fairly wide. I'd say it's about, well, it's about this wide, which is about 40 feet or so. Yeah, 40 feet. I'd say 8 inches.
The goal of any design is to make a space feel a little bit bigger than it actually is. In this case, we're using diagonals to create the illusion of size.
And we're working off the angles of this little tiny window that's off the kitchen and this little bay area here. I mean, it's not just for any random reason. It usually ties into something that's happening, but it will often make the line seem a little bit longer in your garden. It doesn't always work, but in this case it does.
So basically the idea is to dress up the prized Japanese maple with some floating decks. But is this gonna fly with Jackie?
Hey, James.
Hello.
Hi.
Great to
Good
see
to see
you.
you.
How have you been? So, I've got a great garden for
Okay,
you.
let's see.
Here we are. Right away, what we want to do is remove that whole step system that's been
Right.
built against the house. You like to barbecue, so
Right.
you walk right out and have this ample
Oh,
little
see, that's
area over
nice.
here.
We can have coffee out there in the morning.
For privacy, we just want to put some liriodendron.
Right.
Liriodendrons are tulip trees, and they are a native tree to this habitat down here. So after you've had your cup of coffee, you can
Right.
come down the stairs, and now we thought about the big open deck here.
Right.
Then I want you to come right down on these large, beautiful wooden stairs. These are basically mini floating decks.
Sure.
It's got
Okay.
a focal Japanese maple, which I'm gonna have someone come in and prune it perfectly for you.
Okay.
The garden shed, we're gonna pull it back, take it right to the property line so that you have more area out front for planting.
So the construction's starting tomorrow, and I want to make sure that it's not too dirty and not too noisy.
Well, we'll just turn that over to our intrepid landscape crew.
All right.
When you're breaking ground, you've got to be ready for anything.
There's supposed to be a planter bed right through there.
But no one was suspecting to be caught between a rock and a hard place.
This is the problem. All of a sudden, we have a piece of Stonehenge in the middle of the back frickin' yard.
Nothing prepared us for this.
It's a foot deep so far. Like, I just have no idea why some dumb would put a giant slab of concrete in the middle of the backyard.
Before anything new can happen, we've got to dislodge this stone slab. Once the concrete gets the heave-ho, the crew can get started getting rid of the rest of the trees and shrubs, and the new deck build can begin.
That's about a perfect drop. On a Friday, I'll take that.
So while the crew clears the deck for the new deck, I'm heading into rocky territory at the gravel pit.
Tino! Hey, James, nice to see you again.
Thanks. It's pretty busy here and hot.
Here, all the time.
Yeah, man,
yes.
thanks for meeting up with me, because
No problem.
I got this client. I'm trying to keep costs down, but still give it a really elegant look. So it's a very fine gravel I'm looking at. I just want to lay just a really, like, almost that much, so it doesn't get way underfed.
You
know, it's a
barely see
bare
the
minimum.
screening.
But I don't want this to be, you know, this deep and it gives way like a sandy beach. Like, a lot of people do put gravel down on a driveway or a patio, and look what happens underneath. I mean, you can't even walk on it, you know?
That's right.
So,
we have the HPB
yep.
or the 3/8 gravel.
What does HPB stand for?
HPB is high performance bedding.
Oh, I see.
Okay, it's a self-compacting material.
Oh, nice. So you mean all these years I've been paying man hours for like compacting and compacting, this stuff will just go down and you don't have to do anything?
No, you just
We
put
should have
it
been
down.
talking years ago, man.
No.
I guess we'll go with the HPV as long as it passes my special gravel test. Oh yeah! Back at the site, I can already see a difference, but it's a bit different for the client.
Just looked so like a pile of mud, basically. My mother's coming up to visit. She's 86, and so this is a big deal for her to come up.
Jackie's mom, 86. We better get cracking. Even the dogs put out.
No back steps. That's been the worst part, is no back steps, because usually I let Lucy out the back door. So we had to go out the front, and a skunk had been using my lawn. She goes chasing off after the skunk. Fortunately, even though skunks are slow, Lucy was slower.
Happily, Lucy wasn't skunked, and now we're looking for the stuff that's going to make Jackie's domain smell really sweet.
We're just looking for perennials.
Yeah.
Some sort of large foliage plant that can come up over top of the deck so it gives her a little bit of delineation at the edge of the deck. Because I really don't want to put a railing in there.
Yeah, that would, I think the place would be brutal if you had a railing on that.
Maybe astilbe, look at that.
Ah, astilbe. Look at the colors of this astilbe.
Wow. If you're picking a plant for a flower, this one actually flowers a lot longer than most average perennials. Where they get 2 weeks, these sort of go for about 3 weeks.
Let's use some of this in her garden, in Jackie's garden, but I don't think it's going to do justice coming right up to the edge of the deck. It's too low still.
So we need something where the foliage will be higher. Then there might be some stock higher than
We need
that.
some big dramatic drifts of something, big foliage, large flower, give it some interest. There she is, I think that's the one. Ligularia, the rocket. I think this could possibly be the perfect plant for that area.
This is as high as me.
I know.
It has a spire flower, which gives it architecture.
Great foliage.
Beautiful leaf.
What I love about it too, guys, is look at this black core here.
Yeah.
The stem is just incredible.
And it lit up at night. This would look incredible too.
Oh, would it ever?
And the site's a little shady.
Look at the
Japanese
size of
maple.
this leaf.
I know. Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam, how are you?
It's not big enough.
You know what? The foliage is gonna really soften the edge of the deck. You're gonna lose that hard edge in the garden ring.
Yeah, this is what's going to
All
create that barrier. Hey, don't step off the desk here.
Okay, we've got a floral border. No need for an intrusive railing. If we could just say the same thing about a saw.
The next time they decide they want to leave the doors in and put another set in, they should probably tell us before we chop a giant hole in the side of the shed.
What happened?
Originally, according to the plan with James, the door on the shed was being removed from the end.
We talked about leaving the side shed doors on. Remember that day?
Cut a big hole in the side of the shed,
They
And
didn't.
Jay took it off.
and then Jackie came home and wondered what we were doing. Apparently, unbeknownst to me, she had met with James, who had said we were going to leave the doors in the end, put a second set in to allow light in so there would be 2 sets of double doors in the shed, only it never filtered far enough south.
And I'm like, oh, Jay, I guess we didn't tell you. Maybe we should just leave them on.
So we had a little drama. But hey, that's what makes it fun, right?
That's the door handle that swung open as Alan was cutting it and he cut the actual handle clean off. I think I'll make an Alan award. We'll have some fun with it.
We have a handle on the shed situation, and the finishing touches for the deck are on track. Too bad we can't say the same about the weather. Torrential rain is holding up getting the plants in.
But it's kind of upsetting because Jackie's mother has been here for 2 weeks, and I'd really love to have some closure with this garden with her mom here.
Oh, my Lord, I didn't expect this to be such a project. You have a backyard left.
Well, no, there'll be lots of plants over there. You can't see it yet, but because it's all mud.
It would be really, I think, a lot of fun for Jackie and her mother to share a brand new garden coming together, but it's not going to happen, so I'm a little upset about that.
Okay, honey. Bye-bye. I love you.
Wouldn't you know it, Jackie's mom leaves and the sun comes out. Lisa, how are you?
Hello, hello.
Great to see you.
Making yourself comfortable?
Yeah, I was about to just... Bright side, our designer Lisa can get a look at this place for furniture and the rest of the pretty stuff.
In terms of what the family is looking for,
Everything's based around coming down, sitting down here, relaxing, the ultimate destination point here.
the deck is really angular.
It is, yes.
So I'm thinking just something to soften it up, maybe a round table, really big comfy chairs.
Yeah, any color are you suggesting or anything like that, or what?
The only thing that offhand that I can think of is just to put some texture in here because there's so much wood in the place.
Yeah.
I'm thinking just lovely fabrics with texture.
Awesome.
As Lisa heads out, the plants start arriving out of the blue.
There's always like these little surprises. Like we came home one night and the whole driveway was filled with plant matter, trees and things. And neighbors are coming over and they're coming up and they're saying, what is this? And why have you left a bunch of trees in my driveway anyway? And, you know, stuff like that. Unexpected surprises.
Sorry, Jackie, but that's the way we roll in the landscape business. We're just happy to have good weather for planting. And Lisa rolls with her brief of the space.
I'm looking for something to break up all the angles in the space. There's a lot of wood and there's a lot of angles and it's a little overpowering. So this is actually a good starting point. I can probably use it in the little area at the back. So by having texture in the cushions, in the actual frame of the piece, as well as the softness of just the round table, the round chairs, it's really inviting. So this would be a really good fit.
While Lisa's making headway,
Let's move these guys on center, just Jay, so I can place everything around them.
I'm using motivational techniques back on site to get this job done.
I hurt my back playing hockey last night, so... Sweet. Okay, just a little more.
Oh, that's a nice healthy tree.
Come on,
I've got tight enough?
I've got a facial at 4.
I think that's tight enough, eh?
So the planting is going great, but not all trees are created equal.
We'll get one
more viburnum.
Viburnum lentago, which that one's going to the graveyard.
It's turning brown.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, my friend. You didn't make the cut. And speaking of cutting,
What we want to achieve here are just sort of really light layers.
Yeah. With it being a Japanese maple, they're a little bit more sensitive to aggressive pruning or anything like that. We tend to be a little bit more delicate with them. General rule of thumb is, for most pruning, is 25% of the canopy. By alleviating some weight, we can gain some elevation, right? You're trying to get function in the sense of, I want to walk under this tree without banging my head on limbs, but you also want to continue the look of the tree. So you have to sort of be aesthetically minded as well as functionally minded.
Especially important with a Japanese maple because it's such a focal point.
Problem is, people leave the plant, let it get to this huge monster of this plant, and then they ask you to come in and say, I want it to look like it did when I planted it.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is, functionally, we can't do that. So if you stay on top of it as it grows, you're better in the long run because you can actually train that tree to look how you want it to look.
I'm glad we got Jackie's fabulous tree sorted out. In fact, to me, all plants and trees are awesome.
See how it's shaped like a tulip when it's in the ground? Hi, I'm from Holland. I'm a tulip.
We're almost there.
The gravel is perfect, man. It's perfect compaction. I love the aluminum edge, just cleans it up beautifully.
Except for a little cutting miscalculation on some glass panels.
They cut the glass, we had to go get it changed, and then they sent us back the exact same glass, so we had to go back again today.
Even mistakes have their rewards.
In honor of your lovely work on Jackie's shed, we thought that you should receive the Allen Award for outstanding accomplishments in cutting doorknobs in half.
Well, you apparently have too much time on your hands if you carve that out yourself.
The final piece of glass for the upper deck is in place. A few more finishing touches, and Jackie's garden is a sight to behold.
Okay, gents, you ready for this one? Here we are at Jackie's backyard.
Oh, nice.
What a great
cleaned up
space.
beautifully.
Did we put the Japanese maple in?
Yep.
Sure did.
I love it.
We had crated it.
Fortune.
Wow, looks great. Very beautiful.
What a scale, eh? Perfect
Clean and
scale
simple.
for, like, you just feel like I could use this all the time.
Yeah, the atmosphere here is amazing.
I'm very happy about this transformation of this garden. Jackie, at the beginning didn't have a garden that she could use at all. There was this really bad crib system outside the door, which was actually very dangerous for her to walk on. The slope was useless. There was no plateau where they could entertain or have a patio. Now look at it, they can sit up there at breakfast time and have a grapefruit and a coffee and a newspaper.
The new steps are great because they're a little bit wider,
Yeah.
and so they're shallower, so it's a nicer flow
Safer.
down. They're not steep stairs.
What do I think? I think it's gorgeous. I do. I'm trying to remember back to the original yard, just how scruffy it was. And now it's so perfect.
And we've done elevations of 3 spaces. We've got a little breakfast nook up top here that they can enjoy in the evening and the morning. They have a main seating area down below here, and then the destination point in the corner.
We talked about this, about how staircases change your mood from one space to another. This is so relaxing.
We've given Jackie basically 3 rooms, and we've added to her living space.
Let's talk about changing mood for a second. I notice our energy is kind of subdued today. Did you take your sedation pills as well?
I honestly think it's the garden, man. It's relaxing.
It is the garden.
I love the fact, though, that we're in a completely different room in the garden. There's a completely different atmosphere because of the pea gravel. And there's still a beautiful Japanese maple as a focal.
Before, there was absolutely nothing here that she could use. So I'm really happy and really, really delighted that we've given her this space back.
I feel more like it's my yard, even though I did none of the work. I feel that it reflects us. We'll use this yard for many years to come, and we'll have many lovely evenings with good food and good wine and good friends.
You know what? These martinis are just fantastic.
I think they were
My lychee martini is just fantastic.
I think they were color coded.
They are.
Nice
And
work, guys.
I know you're lying.
Cheers.
Help! Help! Dad! We're stuck! We're stuck! I'll be there in a second. Dad! Hang on. Dad! Good
Good thing there was a downspout here.
Cool.
They should have used copper eaves troughs. Costs more, but they last longer.
Dad, we haven't got all day.
Whoa, this porch is in rough shape.
Dad.
Really needs a paint job.
Dad.
These guys should hire dirty business.
Dad, forget the design tips.
Hey, where'd that camera come from?
Thanks, Dad. Yeah, thanks,
What?
Dad.
You guys dragged me all the way over here and you can climb down on your own?
Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Dad.